5.4, Step 3, Counterpoints here. Counterpoints are helpful because they are the opposite of what you personally think. And if you understand the opposite side, it is easier to argue your side. So we're going to talk about those for this Aspire to Do video, and you can take some notes. You now, after you have done some researching about your social issue, probably have formed your own opinion about this topic. And so when you are presenting your podcast, you are going to present your opinion. And you're going to be using noteworthy evidence to support why you think what you think. But it will also be important to see the other side and to acknowledge that side and kind of knock it down. So let's talk about how to do that. Well, what is a counterpoint? Your point is your idea, right? A counterpoint or counter-argument is an argument that goes against your point, okay? Something that is opposite of your point. So even though you likely won't agree with counterpoints, it is important to understand how people with other points of view would try to argue against you so that you can anticipate, you can expect, you can watch for those arguments and be ready with a rebuttal. A rebuttal is a response that will address the counterpoint and show why your point is stronger. So let's look at a few examples. So here is the topic. Let's say you were researching clean energy. And the point that you want to make in your podcast, now that you've done a lot of research, is that windmill use should be expanded to generate more energy. The counterpoint would be the opposite, somebody who would take an opposing view. And here's that point. Some people argue that windmills are an inefficient use of space and can pose a danger to many species of birds. So that's the opposite side. And if you have that in mind, then you can make your argument even more persuasive by offering a rebuttal, which is to counter their counter, right? However, investing in research can improve windmill technology so that it is safe and effective. So there we have the rebuttal to the counterpoint, which then supports your point that windmill use should be expanded to generate more energy. Let's take a look at another one. This topic is school uniforms, and the point that you want to make is requiring school uniforms can be damaging for students. The counterpoint? Some feel that uniforms provide a sense of community and show that everyone at the school is the same. Rebuttal. However, uniforms can be prohibitively expensive, so costly that they make it hard to buy for some families, making those students feel more like outsiders. So the rebuttal is arguing against the counterpoint and supporting the original point. All right, so make sure your rebuttal responds directly to the counterpoint. Don't just use an unrelated idea. That's not going to persuade anyone. For example, here's what you want to do. Some argue that zoos are a form of animal cruelty by forcing animals to be on display in small environments. However, responsible zoos rely on scientific research to provide enclosures that include the space, enrichment, and natural features each animal needs. As opposed to, don't do this, some argue that zoos are a form of animal cruelty by forcing animals to be on display in small environments. However, zoos can be a huge source of tourism and raise lots of money for their communities. True, but it doesn't respond directly to the counterpoint that it's animal cruelty, right? So logically, it's not as good of a rebuttal. So your turn now. Based on the research you've done so far, brainstorm 2 counterpoints. that others make about your topic, arguments that contradict or argue or go against your own point. Record each counterpoint in your packet and come up with a rebuttal that directly responds to the counterpoint and supports your own point of view. Make sure your rebuttals respond directly to the counterpoints and are based on research and evidence, not just your own opinion. That's what it's all about, noteworthy evidence here. All right, I'm looking forward to seeing what you guys come up with for this.